You bought a GMC truck because you wanted something that would last, but here is the reality I have seen in my 20-plus years working on these vehicles. Most GMC trucks never make it to 300,000 miles, not because the engines cannot handle it, but because the owners do not maintain them properly. I have watched perfectly good trucks get scrapped at 150,000 miles because of neglect, and I have seen others cruise past 500,000 miles because the owner understood what it takes to keep a truck running. The difference is not luck or spending a fortune on maintenance. It is about doing the right things at the right times and understanding where your specific GMC truck is vulnerable. Today, I am going to give you the exact formula for extending your GMC's life far beyond 300,000 miles. These are the practices I follow on my own truck, the same advice I give to family and friends, and the maintenance schedule that has kept customer trucks running for decades. If you stick around until the end, I am going to show you the single most important thing you can do to prevent catastrophic failures that total otherwise good trucks. Let's get into it. Number 15. Know your vehicle's weak points. Every GMC model and engine has specific weak points that will kill the truck if you do not address them. The guys who make it past 300,000 miles know their truck's vulnerabilities and deal with them proactively instead of waiting for catastrophic failure. If you own a 2007 to 2013 Sierra or Yukon with the 5.3-liter V8, your weak point is AFM lifter failure. I have seen these engines destroy themselves at 100,000 miles from collapsed lifters. The solution is installing an AFM delete kit for $500 to $1,000 before the lifters fail, not after they ruin your camshaft and require a $4,000 rebuild. If you have got a GMC with the 3.6-liter V6 from 2008 to 2012, your weak point is timing chain failure. I have seen these chains stretch and jump timing with little warning. The preventive solution is replacing the timing chains at 100,000 miles for $2,500 to $4,000. Expensive, yes, but cheaper than a destroyed engine from jump timing. Own a Duramax with a CP4 fuel pump? That pump is your weak point. I recommend installing a fuel filtration system upgrade and using quality fuel additives to protect it. Some guys even install CP4 failure mitigation kits that prevent metal contamination if the pump fails. I spend time researching every vehicle that comes into my shop. I know which years had transmission issues, which engines had specific failures, which components are prone to premature wear. That knowledge prevents expensive surprises. You need to do the same with your truck. Search online forums, look up technical service bulletins for your year and model. Talk to mechanics who work on these trucks regularly. Find out what commonly fails and address it before it happens. The guys who make it past 300,000 miles are not lucky, they are informed. They know their truck's Achilles heel and they protect it. That is the difference between a truck that lasts and one that gets scrapped prematurely. Number 14. Scheduled timing chain and belt inspections. Timing chain or belt failure is one of the few things that can instantly total an otherwise good engine. I have seen timing chains jump on engines with 80,000 miles, destroying valves and pistons in seconds. The repair cost exceeds the value of most trucks, so the vehicle gets scrapped. Most GMC trucks use timing chains rather than belts, which is good because chains last longer, but they do not last forever, and they need inspection. Timing chain stretch, worn tensioners, and failed guides will eventually cause problems. I recommend having your timing chain inspected every 100,000 miles. A competent mechanic can check for excessive slack, listen for rattling on startup, and look for warning signs before failure occurs. If the chain is stretching or the tensioner is weak, replace them before they jump. Some engines are more prone to timing issues than others. The 3.6-liter V6 from 2008 to 2012 is notorious for premature timing chain wear. The 2.4-liter Ecotec 4-cylinder has similar problems. If you own one of these engines, inspection at 60,000 miles is smart preventive practice. Timing chain replacement costs $800 to $3,000, but prevents catastrophic engine destruction costing $5,000 to $10,000. Listen for rattling on cold starts or rough running. If the check engine light shows timing codes, get diagnosed immediately. Engines reaching 300,000 miles had timing components replaced when needed. Number 13. Proper driving habits. How you drive your GMC has a massive impact on how long it lasts. I have seen identical trucks, same year, same engine, similar mileage, where one needs major repairs and the other runs perfectly. The difference is usually driving habits. Avoid constant hard acceleration. Your GMC has serious power and it is tempting to use it. But every time you floor the throttle, you are stressing the engine, transmission, and drivetrain. Over hundreds of thousands of miles, that adds up to accelerated wear. Do not tow beyond your truck's rated capacity. I see guys loading up trailers that exceed their truck's limits because it will handle it. Sure, it will handle it once or twice, but do it regularly and you are cooking your transmission, overheating your engine, and wearing out your brakes prematurely. Let the engine warm up before driving hard. I do not mean idling for 10 minutes. Modern engines do not need that. But do not jump on the highway and floor it when the engine is cold. Give it a few minutes of gentle driving to get fluids circulating and temperatures up. Use cruise control on highways. Consistent throttle position reduces wear compared to constantly accelerating and decelerating. It also improves fuel economy, which saves money over the truck's life. Avoid short trips. Cold engines build moisture in oil and accelerate wear. If you tow regularly, install auxiliary transmission and oil cooling for $500 to $1,500. I have seen transmissions last 400,000 miles with cooling that would have failed at 150,000 without it. Treat your truck right and it will run forever. Number 12. Regular software updates. Modern GMC trucks are computers on wheels, and the software controlling everything from engine management to transmission shifts gets updated periodically. Skipping these updates can cause drivability problems, reduce fuel economy, and even prevent other systems from working properly. I have seen trucks with rough shifting, poor fuel economy, and check engine lights that were fixed completely by software updates. The hardware was fine. The programming just needed updating to the latest version. GMC releases updates that address real-world problems discovered across thousands of trucks. Maybe a transmission shift schedule needs refinement, or a sensor reading needs recalibration, or a cold start routine needs adjustment. These updates solve problems you might not even know you have yet. Check with your GMC dealer annually for available updates. Some are free. Others might cost $100 to $150 for the diagnostic time. That is cheap compared to chasing mysterious problems that turn out to be software related. I had a customer losing 2 to 3 miles per gallon from a software bug. Updated the ECU and fuel economy returned to normal. Transmission updates are critical too. I have seen hard shifting and slipping fixed completely by software correcting shift timing and pressure. Trucks reaching 300,000 miles stay current with updates. Number 11. Rust prevention and undercarriage care. In areas where they salt roads, rust kills more trucks than mechanical failure. I have seen GMC trucks with perfect engines and transmissions that are worthless because the frame rotted through or brake lines corroded to failure. Wash your undercarriage regularly, especially during winter. I am not talking about a quick spray. Really get under there and flush the salt out of frame rails, suspension components, and anywhere else it hides. You need enough water pressure to dislodge packed-in salt and mud, not just rinse the surface. I use a pressure washer at home and spend 10 to 15 minutes really soaking the frame, control arms, and anywhere salt can accumulate. Some guys use self-service car washes with undercarriage sprayers. Whatever method you use, do it at least monthly during salt season. Spring is when you should do a thorough cleaning to flush out everything that built up over winter. Get under the truck with a flashlight and inspect for rust starting. Catch it early when it is surface rust, not structural damage. Consider undercoating or oil-based rust inhibitor if you live in salt states. I use these on my own trucks. Check brake lines, fuel lines, and frame regularly for corrosion. I have seen brake lines fail while driving, terrifying but preventable. Trucks reaching 300,000 miles in salt states took rust prevention seriously. Number 10. Differential and transfer case fluid service. If you own a four-wheel drive GMC truck, your differential and transfer case fluids are probably overdue right now. Most owners are religious about engine oil, but completely forget about gear oils. Then they wonder why their differential failed at 180,000 miles. Replace differential fluid every 50,000 miles, more often if you tow heavy or use 4WD regularly. Transfer case fluid follows the same schedule. These fluids break down from heat and contamination, losing their protective properties. I have torn down differentials with old fluid. The gears are scored, bearings are pitted, everything is worn beyond repair. Differential rebuild costs $1,500 to $3,000. Transfer case rebuilds run $2,000 to $3,500. The worst part is these failures are completely avoidable with a $150 fluid change every 50,000 miles. I pulled apart a rear differential last month from a truck with 180,000 miles. Owner never changed the fluid once. The ring and pinion gears had teeth worn down like rounded nubs instead of sharp edges. The gear oil looked like black sludge with metal flakes. When gear oil breaks down, it loses its protective film and you get metal-on-metal contact at high loads. If you tow regularly or drive in rough terrain, that breakdown happens even faster because of heat and stress. I have seen transfer cases seize completely from neglected fluid, leaving the truck stuck in four-wheel drive or unable to engage it. The service costs $100 to $200 for differential, $150 to $250 for transfer case. That is $350 to $450 total every 50,000 miles to protect components that cost thousands to rebuild. I change mine every 40,000 miles because I tow. The fluid comes out dirty every time, which tells me it needed changing. The trucks that make it past 300,000 miles have fresh differential and transfer case fluid on schedule. The owners understand that drivetrain protection is just as important as engine protection. Number 9. Air and cabin filter replacement. Dirty air filters cost you power, fuel economy, and HVAC performance. Your engine air filter should be replaced every 15,000 to 30,000 miles depending on conditions. Cabin filter annually. A clogged engine air filter restricts airflow, reducing power and hurting fuel economy. I have seen trucks lose 1 to 2 miles per gallon from a dirty filter. Over 15,000 miles at current gas prices. That is $100 to $200 extra spent on fuel because you did not replace a $25 filter. The cabin filter affects your HVAC system. When it clogs, the blower motor works harder and can burn out prematurely. Blower motor replacement costs $300 to $500. Meanwhile, you are breathing dirty air and your heating and cooling performance suffers. I replace my engine air filter every oil change if I drive in dusty conditions, otherwise every other oil change. Takes 5 minutes and costs $15 to $30. Cabin filter once a year in spring. Another $15 to $25 and 5 minutes of work. Check your filters regularly. Pull the engine air filter and hold it up to light. If you cannot see through it, it needs replacing. The cabin filter is usually behind the glove box. Pull it out and check for dirt, leaves, debris. Some guys run reusable filters that you clean and re-oil. These work if you actually maintain them. The problem is most people never clean them, so they end up more restrictive than disposable filters. The trucks that make it past 300,000 miles have clean filters. The owners understand that airflow matters for engine performance and component longevity. Number 8. Suspension and steering inspection. Suspension and steering components wear from use, especially if you drive rough roads or tow heavy. Inspect ball joints, tie rods, and shocks every 50,000 miles minimum. Worn ball joints cause clunking, steering wander, and uneven tire wear. I have seen ball joint failures where the joint separated and the wheel folded under the truck. That is dangerous and causes loss of control. Ball joint replacement costs $400 to $800 per side. Tie rods wear similarly. Worn tie rods cause poor alignment that eats tires and creates handling problems. Tie rod replacement runs $200 to $400 per side. Shocks wear gradually. You might not notice it happening, but after 100,000 miles, your truck is bouncing around instead of staying planted. Worn shocks reduce braking performance, increase stopping distance, and make towing unstable. I replace shocks around 100,000 miles as preventive maintenance. Basic shocks cost $300 to $600 for all four. Quality shocks like Bilstein run $800 to $1,500, but improve ride quality and last longer. I always tell customers if you tow regularly, spend the extra money on quality shocks because they hold up way better. Cheap shocks wear out in 50,000 to 60,000 miles. Good shocks last 100,000 miles or more and keep your truck stable when hauling heavy trailers. During tire rotations, have your mechanic check ball joints and tie rods for play. Catch wear early before it becomes dangerous or ruins your tires. The trucks that make it past 300,000 miles have maintained suspension and steering. The owners replace worn components before they fail catastrophically. Number 7. Battery health checks. A dead battery is frustrating and can leave you stranded at the worst times. Inspect battery terminals for corrosion twice a year and test voltage before summer and winter. Corroded terminals create resistance that reduces starting power and causes electrical issues. I have diagnosed charging problems, dim lights, and starting issues that were all caused by corroded terminals. Clean them with a wire brush and baking soda solution. Test voltage twice a year. A healthy battery shows 12.6 volts or higher with the engine off. Under 12.4 volts means it is getting weak. Under 12 volts means replacement is coming soon. Most auto parts stores test batteries for free. Takes 5 minutes and tells you if the battery is healthy or needs replacement. I do this every spring and fall so I can replace the battery on my schedule, not when I am stranded. GMC batteries last 4 to 6 years typically. If your battery is over 4 years old and tests marginal, replace it proactively. A new battery costs $120 to $200. Emergency replacement plus tow costs $250 to $400. If you notice slow cranking, dim lights, or electrical glitches, test the battery immediately. These are warning signs that failure is coming. The trucks that make it past 300,000 miles have reliable batteries because the owners replace them before they fail. Number 6. Tire rotation and alignment. A regular tire rotation and alignment saves serious money on tire replacement. Rotate every 6,000 to 7,500 miles. Check alignment annually or after hitting pothole. GMC trucks wear tires unevenly without rotation. I have seen trucks burn through tires in 25,000 miles. With proper rotation, those same tires last 50,000 miles. A set of truck tires costs $800 to $1,200. Getting double the life is like getting a free set of tires. Rotation costs $40 to $60. Over 50,000 miles, you spend $300 on rotations, but save $800 to $1,200 on premature replacement. That is a no-brainer. Alignment is equally important. Misalignment wears one edge faster than the other. I see perfectly good tires with 50% tread on one side and bare cord on the other. That tire is done, and the owner wasted half its life. Alignment costs $80 to $120. That is cheap compared to wasted tire tread. I check alignment every rotation and annually. My tires wear evenly and last their full rated mileage. Proper inflation matters too. Check pressure monthly. Underinflated tires wear faster and hurt fuel economy. Overinflated tires ride harsh and wear the center. The trucks that make it past 300,000 miles have even tire wear because the owners rotate and align religiously. Number 5. Fuel system cleaning. Fuel system cleaning prevents injector clogging and performance loss. Use GMC-approved cleaners formulated for your engine type every 10,000 to 15,000 miles. For gas trucks, use top-tier fuel and add quality cleaner like Chevron Techron or BG44K. For Duramax diesels, use diesel-specific products like Hot Shot Secret or Stanodyne. Never use gas cleaners in diesel. That is a disaster. I add fuel system cleaner every 10,000 miles. Costs $15 to $25 per treatment. This prevents injector clogging that causes rough running, misfires, and power loss. Clogged injectors need professional cleaning at $300 to $500 or replacement at $400 to $800 each. Regular cleaning prevents this. Carbon buildup on intake valves is huge in direct injection engines. Professional carbon cleaning costs $400 to $800. Using quality cleaners prevents most buildup. The trucks that make it past 300,000 miles have clean fuel systems because the owners use proper additives. Number 4. Brake fluid replacement. Brake fluid absorbs moisture over time, which lowers boiling point and causes internal corrosion. Change every 2 to 3 years regardless of mileage. Old contaminated fluid can boil under hard braking, creating vapor that compresses. Your pedal goes soft and stopping power drops. That is terrifying and dangerous. Moisture causes corrosion in brake lines, calipers, and ABS modules. I have seen brake lines corrode from inside and burst while driving. Brake line replacement costs $300 to $800. A BS module replacement costs $800 to $1,500. Brake fluid service costs $80 to $120. I change mine every 2 years. The old fluid comes out dark and contaminated. Fresh fluid goes in clean with maximum protection. The trucks that make it past 300,000 miles have healthy brake systems because the owners change fluid on schedule. Number 3. Coolant flush and radiator care. Coolant prevents overheating and protects against corrosion. Replace every 50,000 miles without fail. Old coolant loses protective additives and becomes corrosive. I have seen blown head gaskets from degraded coolant that stopped protecting. Head gasket replacement costs $1,500 to $3,000. Old coolant also causes radiator leaks and heater core failures. Coolant flush costs $100 to $200. I flush mine at 50,000-mile intervals. Old coolant comes out rusty and dirty. Fresh coolant provides another 50,000 miles of protection. The trucks that make it past 300,000 miles have fresh coolant because the owners understand cooling system protection. Number 2. Transmission fluid service. Transmission fluid is critical. Inspect every 30,000 miles and replace every 50,000 to 60,000 miles, even if GMC says lifetime fluid. I have never seen a transmission last its full potential on original fluid. Change it every 50,000 miles and your transmission will outlast the truck. Skip it and you are looking at $3,000 to $5,000 rebuild. Fluid service costs $200 to $400. That is cheap insurance. I change mine every 50,000 miles. The old fluid always comes out darker than new. The trucks that make it past 300,000 miles have fresh transmission fluid because the owners prioritize it. Number 1. Stick to oil change intervals. This is number 1 because it is the single most important thing you can do. Use GMC recommended synthetic oil and change it every 5,000 to 7,500 miles, not 10,000. Not when the monitor says 0%. Every 5,000 to 7,500 miles. I have torn down engines destroyed from extended intervals, sludge everywhere, clogged passages, starved bearings. Complete engine replacement costs $5,000 to $10,000. Oil changes cost $60 to $80. My engine has 230,000 miles and runs like new because I change oil every 5,000 miles religiously. The trucks that make it past 300,000 miles have clean oil. The owners understand this is the foundation of longevity. But extending your GMC past 300,000 miles is not complicated or expensive. Follow these 15 practices and your truck will outlast expectations. Oil changes, transmission service, coolant flushes, brake fluid, fuel cleaning, tire care, battery maintenance, suspension inspection, filters, drivetrain fluids, rust prevention, software updates, proper driving, timing inspections, and knowing your weak points. The trucks that make it are maintained by owners who understand that prevention is cheaper than repair. Take care of your GMC, and it will reward you with decades of reliable service.